Hello and welcome to the Conscious Consulting Podcast. My name is Julia Culen and today I'm going to introduce you to a new way of looking at the VUCA model. So we are living in the VUCA world, and the VUCA world is a world that is difficult, it's volatile, it's uncertain, and it's complex, and it's ambiguous, and it's not clear where we're going. But it's a VUCA world, and we like it because we choose to, and because we see the potential and the possibility within any given context. It's a context that we don't necessarily would choose or particularly like, but one that we can't change. And one of Viktor Frankl's key teaching is the insight that freedom lies in our choice, how we respond to a certain given context. We cannot choose the context, but sometimes we can see what is our way of responding. Like everything, a context is not a fixed thing, but it's open to interpretation and a combination of an external situation and how we see it and respond to it. So let's look a little bit deeper first. What is VUCA? The United States Army War College was one of the first organizations to use the VUCA acronym following the 9/11 terrorist attacks in 2001. Military planners were worried about the radically different and unfamiliar international security environment that had emerged. So they used VUCA to describe it. VUCA in its original interpretation stands for volatility, and this means that the change is rapid and unpredictable in its nature and in its extent. I think we all know what this is talking about. From one day to another, the situation can totally be changed. And I think especially in the Corona time, we see how quick new situations can emerge from one day to the other. New regulations are in place. Uncertainty. The present is unclear and the future is uncertain. So this is also something that creates a lot of anxiety. We really don't know what's going to happen, and we don't even understand what's going on right now, not even talking about the future. Complexity means that many different interconnected factors come into play with the potential to cause chaos and confusion. And then there is ambiguity. And this is very opaque for many people because there's a lack of clarity or awareness about situations. So we don't really know, is this a good thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it dangerous or not? Do we want it or not? So there's a lack of a clear guidance what to do and where to go. So VUCA was also adopted by the business world to describe a context that has somewhat become like a new normal. So we got used to it, but in many cases we still respond with our old need to predict and control. And this, of course, causes a lot of chaos. So the Corona pandemic, as I said before, has pushed this concept to the extreme, up to a moment that makes planning and prediction almost impossible. So VUCA can be rather disempowering until we decide to look deeper and unlock the hidden potential and respond with boldness and maybe even with joy. So let's take this step by step. If life gives us volatility, we can develop versatility out of it. Volatility becomes a problem only if we insist on stability and the need to control what's uncontrollable. I see this in many of our clients and organizations and the stock markets. They want predictability. They want things to be controllable, but they are not. So life is just not in line with this need. And also I personally have stopped trying to plan my income, my projects, clients, or even the next month. The only thing or the best reaction to it is that I'm currently really fully focused on the present moment and notice what each situation is asking of me and what each situation also has to offer. A volatile context holds new opportunities and possibilities and invites us to become more agile or versatile in a way. A key to unleashing the intrinsic energy of a versatile context are focus and presence. So we are asked to be in resonance with the world around us, becoming more sensitive, connected, and in sync with what's going on around us. We are in a constant training of using the many facets of our personality, all our talents, and we are asked to increase our bandwidth, our flexibility and awareness. Our capacity to be with different contexts is increasing, and the possibilities for creativity and innovation can expand. So this volatile context gives us a lot of opportunities if we are open to see them. If we're just seeing what's not happening, like the stability that we are not getting, the controllability that we're not getting, we're always in a deficit. We have no capacity to see the opportunity within. And we're not developing all of our possibilities in this. The second, the U of the VUCA is uncertainty. And I decided to become unstoppable in the face of uncertainty. So for example, 1 month after my husband and I, after Christian and I agreed to purchase a finca in South Spain in February 2020, the coronavirus hit in. So the uncertainty was huge, and we had no idea if we were going to be able to start the construction, travel, or if we were even going to need our savings for our immediate survival. Are we going to be able to work again? So does it really make sense to now buy something so far away from Austria? We had absolutely no idea what was going to happen. And there was really, as you maybe can imagine, many evenings, mornings that we discussed if we should opt out of the purchase agreement, pay the small penalty fee and say, okay, that's not the right moment for it. Maybe this is too insecure. Let's not put this burden on our back. But we somehow decided to move on with however difficult it would be. And it really was not easy, but it was not that difficult. But of course, we needed to hire a local lawyer to help us with the purchasing process, as we couldn't even travel there to sign the contract at the notary. And 2 years later, the billing process is still not finished. So we are still in this phase because we couldn't go there too often. And things were all slowed down. But we decided to not let the uncertainty stop us from doing what we had started. Today, we are more than happy. And in the meantime, the rural estate prices are rising because of Corona. So a lot of people are now looking for remote places in the countryside. And we would have missed a big opportunity to buy this beautiful property for a more than reasonable price. We also were lucky to land some large clients' assignments, and money didn't prove to be the problem. And thanks to the vaccine, we are now able to travel easily. All this was, of course, not foreseeable, but we somehow decided to not be stopped by uncertainty and move on. This is what I mean by being unstoppable. Too often, we wait for the circumstances to be stable, to be safe and clear, to take a bold decision. And then we end up never doing it because the circumstances are always impossible, to be honest. So whatever you want to do it now and do it smart. I mean, really, sometimes the circumstances are changing to an extent that it's not smart to be unstoppable. But in many times, I don't regret what I did. I maybe regret what I didn't do. The third point of the VUCA and term we are or concept we work with is complexity. And complexity for us calls for an answer that means cooperation and collaboration. Because as we say, and that it was described, when many connected and interrelated factors come into play, we are asked to become more playful. They come into play. You already hear this. It comes into play. So our answer is to become playful, to be collaborative, diverse and networked. So for us, chaos is basically the result of the attempt to control and manage complexity with a linear and hierarchical thinking. But if we mirror the context in the way we organize ourselves and combine also many different worldviews and different interrelated factors and people who play together with skills, with background, with a diverse set of cultures, of course this is complex, but this is exactly the answer that is needed to deal with these varieties and let them interplay. So whenever we create such a work environment with our clients that was more interdisciplinary across regions, across age groups, across gender, across backgrounds, across skills, and they were connected by shared purpose, by goal, and clear rules of the game, pure magic happened. So how does it come that people from all over the world can play soccer together, even if they've never met before, because they all are aware of the shared rules of the game and the culture ethics that guides them. So innovation, creativity, joy, and business results basically increased. So complexity teaches us, urges us, forces us to collaborate and learn how to collaborate for real. And the last point of the VUCA is ambiguity. And ambiguity leaves room for interpretation. And our choice is, in the face of ambiguity, let's get audacious. So ambiguity means that a situation is not fully clear. It holds the quality of being open to more than one interpretation. It has a sense of inexactness. So the business world and markets don't like this at all. They want things to be clear and plannable and controllable. People are expected to form a clear opinion and a final judgment whether the situation is favorable or dangerous or good or bad or white or black. But this is not at all how life is these days. And the quality of being open, or maybe talking with Peter Senji, who talks about suspension, so leave a final judgment open, leaving it up to different possibilities, or even choosing the most favorable interpretation, is a highly difficult but important practice. So how to respond to such an unclear context that leaves room for so many interpretations? We think this is the room to get audacious. And audacious means to show a willingness to take surprisingly bold risks. Get ambitious. We can opt for the interpretation that leaves us disempowered, small, anxious, or an interpretation that lets us grow, rise above and beyond, and take risks. For example, we founded CCG, the Conscious Consulting Group, in April 2020. A situation that was so opaque, so unclear, and so incomprehensible that we said to ourselves, this is the best time to take a bold risk. We don't have so much to lose and a lot to gain. We invested money and time and attention based on a bold idea to merge business and wisdom. And for me, CCG itself, it's still a little bit ambiguous, yet ambitious. It's still not 100% clear where it wants to go and grow. And we like that. We can just leave it a little bit open and see what are opportunities along the way. Who are the people that are interested? We don't have a certain target group of people because we just put out there what we find interesting, and we see that suddenly people show up along the way that we never would have had on our radar. People from foundations and diversity managers, so not our typical, I would say, HR, CEO, CXO people, business people. So ambiguity means something is not yet clear and it's still full of potential and possibility. So for us, this is the invitation to move from VUCA, a fixed context, to a way of being and acting in the face of something that's potentially threatening until you look deeper and closer. So enjoy the ride, be ambitious, be audacious, take bold decisions and follow through, and don't try to wait until anxiety or insecurity goes away. It goes away if you continue and if you are unstoppable. So the idea and the basic idea of fear, it doesn't go away when you wait. It goes away when you do things in the face of your anxiety, in the face of insecurity. You have it, you feel it, and you still don't let them stop you. So this is my final recommendation to you, and I wish you a wonderful day, night, morning, wherever you are right now.